Just going to change tack onto the agricultural green paper, an area you're often keen to talk on, Angus Taylor. It's released today and it canvasses, amongst other things, how to improve the process of providers, farmers if you like, growers, negotiating prices with Coles and Woolworths. Now it suggests more farmers' co-ops could be part of the solution. Angus Taylor, is this, do you think, the right direction, and is this enough, do you think, to satisfy what is a fair bit of community unrest out there about this process?
Tom, look, what the paper says is there is an extraordinary opportunity for Australian agriculture. We had the BCA coming out and saying that it was our greatest strength, our biggest opportunity, but it also highlights something I've been saying for a number of years, which is that there's some things we've got to fix if we're going to capture the opportunity. And clearly, monopolisation of our supply chains is one of those factors. Now, it's not just Coles and Woolies. We see major issues in a number of the other supply chains, whether it's wheat or sugar, and these are very legitimate debates about competition policy and how we get a farm gate price that sufficiently rewards farmers so that they will invest, create jobs, produce more, export more, and create prosperity in the regions. We know that that's doable, but the competition policy issues are real, and one area of that, of course, is the supermarkets.
That's probably one of the more visual areas, I guess. Lanark Tin, and we see Coles and Woolworths and a whole lot of things, liquor, petrol, credit cards even. Do you have a general concern about duopoly? There's a lot of cheaper prices out there as well.
Absolutely. It's driven down the price, but as we all know, that the problem is if you then get rid of all your competition, or a lot of your competition, then what might be the long-term consequences of that duopolistic behaviour. So you might not end up in the long run with your cheaper prices. But look, I think it's also, people are concerned about a fair price. They are concerned about what happened in the dairy industry with the $1 a litre milk. I mean, people have got a sense of fairness here, that you can't just drive your producers into the ground. And there is, I think, a concern that how is it that these two companies can dominate the retail market so comprehensively, but that the ACCC constantly finds that there is no breach of their power? And it makes you wonder whether or not we need to have a look at whether or not our laws are adequate if it is found that this behaviour is entirely consistent with our laws.
But Tom, look, I agree that we need to look at those competition laws, there's no question, and of course the Competition Review as well as the Agricultural Green Paper are both looking at that. But I would say more important than that is creating alternative markets for farmers. And we know the New Zealand dairy industry doesn't complain about their supermarkets because they have been so successful at creating export markets for dairy products up in Asia. Yeah. Let me finish, please, Lana. The beef industry has extraordinary export opportunities in front of it, but we killed them with the shutdown of the live cattle trade. So we have to focus on creating alternatives to the supermarkets. The paper makes that very, very clear. And as a business person, I know nothing beats having an alternative. Nothing beats having an alternative. And we can do that in many of these markets if we don't put silly policies in place like shutting down a whole sector.
Very quickly.